Good morning, first grade. How are you? Happy Wednesday. Today is our story of the weekday, so we are going to read America Is today. And as you can see behind me here, the title page of the story is right behind us, okay? So we are going to get started right away. We're going to have some vocabulary, and then we're going to have some written questions at the end that Miss Shabelle and I, are going to need to see your answers to. So that's pretty exciting. All right, so today we have the story America Is. And America Is what we call a narrative nonfiction story. And a narrative nonfiction story, what does that mean? Nonfiction. Nonfiction means what? It means real, right? Good. So, in a narrative nonfiction story, we're going to be learning about places and people and events that are real, that really did happen, right? The author, though, is going to use a fun type of language. He's going to use poetry and imagery and fun language to kind of make our story that has facts more interesting to read. And then maybe we're going to meet some characters and have some things happen in the story that could be fun. So it's called narrative nonfiction. We're also going to have all of our vocabulary words that we'll stop along the way and check out, and we'll do some work with that later this week. Now, we have two reading strategies we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on clarifying, right? And we've done that. That's when Miss Cheslock's class, Miss Shabelle's, I'm pretty sure you've done something similar. Clarifying means to make clear, and we like to pretend like we were fogging up a mirror, and then we wipe away that fog so we can understand. So you can clarify by doing three things. If you read something and you don't understand, you can stop, and you say, 1, reread the sentence, right? 2, look at the picture. And 3, if you're still not understanding what you just read, ask for help. The second strategy we're going to talk about today, those reading superhero strategies, is visualizing. So I want you to stop and visualize it. Visualize what is going on in this story. Because it's narrative nonfiction and this story is written in a poetry form, it's easy to see pictures in your mind, and that's exactly what visualizing is. So that's what I want you to focus on today as we read the story America Is. Very good. Are you ready to get started? All right, Miss Cheslock's going to get smaller and your story is going to get bigger, and we're going to get started. And I'll hang out right down here.
Nonfiction. Essential question. What does America mean to you?
All right. So our essential question, what does America mean to you? Stop and think for a moment. What does America mean to you? Our big picture vocabulary this week is inclusiveness. Inclusiveness means making everyone feel included. Making everyone feel like they belong. So I hope in our classroom, and I know in Miss Shabelle's classroom, you always felt included. Okay, like you were a member of our classroom. And that's really important. So we're going to talk about that after we read our story.
America Is by Louise Borden, illustrated by Stacy Schuett.
Let's take a moment, all of you, I want you to try and put your finger on where the author and the illustrator is on your screen right here. If you can find that for me, put your finger right there. Good, right here, by Louise Borden and illustrated by Stacy Schuett, right above our bald eagle here, which, as we already know, is the symbol of the United States. Good. Let's turn the page. Beautiful picture here, I already see. And I can see this as another symbol of the United States, which I'm sure a lot of you already know what this is, right? Statue of Liberty. Let's read.
America is our country. It is the place we call home. We are the nation whose name means freedom to people all over the world.
And America is our country. So we have two vocabulary words that you can see. Oh, I was in your way. That you can see here. We have nation and we have freedom. Okay? We are the nation whose name means freedom. So let's look at nation first.
Nation, an area of land that is controlled by its own government. I would like to visit the nation of Egypt to see the pyramids. Nation,
So a separate government. Very good.
Freedom, being free, doing what you want, not being controlled. The puppy and I have the freedom to play in the backyard. Freedom,
Very good. Being able to do what you would like. That puppy was cute. They had the freedom to do what they want in the backyard. Very good. Ooh, I like this picture. I love all the states being in different colors because you can clearly see one state and then the other. So before we read this page, let's find Michigan on this map of the United States of America. Find Michigan. A lot of people say that Michigan looks like a mitten, right? Who can find Michigan? You can't see my mouse moving, but let's go ahead to the top right of our screen. Okay, top right. And then find that orange state that looks like a mitten, and then it also has a top hat. Yeah, it's orange. Looks like it has a thumb, and if you held up your left hand, you could see it looking just like this. Good. Nice job. Let's read all about these 50 states.
America is 50 states, from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific Ocean and beyond, the United States of America. Some states are big, some states are small. 13 of the states are very old. The rest came later, one by one.
Good. So, remember it said 13 of the states are very old. 13 of these states are very old. Those are the 13 original colonies that are the 13 stripes on our flag, which is kind of a fun, interesting fact, right? Good. Gives us lots of detail on this page, from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific Ocean. Good. Again, I like that picture of the map. The American flag, another symbol of our country you learned about last week.
America is a flag of stars and stripes. 50 stars for the 50 states we have now. 13 stripes for the 13 states that began our nation.
Nice. We just talked about that on the previous page, and last week a lot of you drew me and I got to see a picture of the flags that you drew, and you included those 50 stars for our 50 states and the 13 stripes for the 13 original states that began our nation. Turn the page again.
America is the pledge we say at school. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I need to clarify something. What does that mean? America is the pledge we say at school. But America's our country. What do they mean by that? America, what does the author mean? America is the pledge we say at school. A pledge is a promise, right? A promise to our country. So they're saying that America is like the promise that we make. And if we read what the pledge means, it means we're meaning to be good people and good citizens. So that's part of being American, and being in America.
It is the song we sing, hands over our hearts. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave truth through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Very good. And it kind of sounds different to hear that song said rather than sang, because we're used to hearing it sung, but it's interesting to read it in a different way. So they're also saying America is this song that we sing and all the details about it that are in that song. Turning the page. Ooh, a beautiful picture of a farm.
America is old barns and country roads, fields of corn and wheat.
Mm-hmm. So this is part of America as well.
And farmers who work sun up to sundown. American farmers grow food that feeds families all over the world.
And it's very true and very important. What an important job to feed families, to grow the food that we need to eat, especially now when we're going to the grocery store, maybe more than we did before. Wow, look at this page. There's a lot going on. Look at each and every one of these windows. So I'll put myself in this window. So look in each and every one of these windows. I want you to take a second and really investigate. Get deep, deep, deep into each of these windows. What's going on? Who's in there and what are they doing? So this first window here, I see a lady writing, right? Maybe she's a writer or maybe she's an illustrator. And the second window right here, I see some people dancing. In the third window, it's Miss Cheslock. In the fourth window, I have a man working on a computer, so maybe this is his job. Maybe he's doing something that requires him to be on the computer most of the day, and maybe some of our parents can relate to that. In this fifth window, it looks like a young man doing the violin, which, where's Jakay and Aaron and Bria and Ayana? Some of you are playing instruments in class, right? Good. And then below looks like a delicious bakery. Looks good. And it looks like some students and teachers are walking by. And then lastly, I see some men maybe working on building. They're wearing protective gear, so I can use my inferencing strategies to figure out that they're wearing protective gear because they might need to protect their heads from things falling down. Let's read and see what it says.
America is teachers and their students in schools in every state, and miners and factory workers, artists and musicians, bakers and bankers, and millions of other people who work at many different kinds of jobs at every hour of the day and night.
Every hour of the day and night. I need to clarify that. What do they mean by that? And millions of other people who work at many different jobs of every hour of the day and night. When do we work? When do we go to school? During the day, right? Now, how many of your parents maybe don't work during the day? They work at night. Yeah. So depending on what kind of job you have, that might be the type of day that you work or the time of day that you work. And if you look at all these different people, we could decide maybe when they're working. This lady has a light on up here when she's writing, so maybe that means she works at night. Good. Let's read about this vocabulary word, miners.
Miners. Plural form of miner. A person who works in a mine. The miners were tired after a long day of work. Miners.
Good. And typically a miner is digging for coal or going underground to find things that we need. Good. A very important job. Ooh, we've seen this word before.
America is skyscrapers, tall with many windows, Up, up, up.
Nice. And look at the people's jobs over there. What are they doing on that far right? And those people are looking up at them. They're cleaning the windows. So America has skyscrapers. So the author is saying America is skyscrapers. Skyscrapers.
Skyscrapers. Very tall buildings in a city.
And as it's loading, you know you've seen skyscrapers. We also call skyscrapers columns, right? Columns go up and
New
down.
York City is filled with skyscrapers. Skyscrapers.
Very good. Nice tall buildings. America also has lots of skyscrapers. Wow, lots going on in this picture. And as we've talked about in the past, there's cities and there's countries, right? Cities and the countryside. New York City is a big city, right? It's not very rural as we learned about.
And people in cities who rush to and from work, in cars, in buses, in taxicabs, on subways, and fast trains. Whoosh! Honk honk! Hurry, hurry!
Nice job. This is definitely a city. Lots of noise, lots of people, lots of different types of transportation. Like you can see a lot here. I see a subway, I see a bus, I see a taxi cab, people walking.
From New York City to Chicago to Los Angeles, this is America.
Wow. All those different places. This is America. Beautiful picture again. Now, does this look like a city? We can compare and contrast with the other page. This does not look like a city to me. This looks like a countryside, right? Where it's quieter, not many roads, not many people. Houses are spread apart. And if you look kind of off into the distance there, I can see where there is a big city. Let's read.
America is the swamps and bayous of the deep south, and ponds that glimmer from east to west, and lakes so huge and deep they seem as big as an ocean.
Wow. Let's reread this here. And ponds that glimmer from east to west. Glimmer.
Glimmer, to shine in a weak or faint way. The stars glimmer in the sky at night. Glimmer.
I like the word glimmer. I think that's a nice word. So now I can visualize even better ponds that glimmer. Now think about it. Have you ever seen a pond or a little bit of water glimmering in the sunlight? I know I have. Nice.
And rushing streams, and creeks, and brooks, and rivers that are long and wide, that bring our states together as one vast land, from the Hudson to the Ohio, to the Mississippi, to the Columbia. This is America.
Wow. And the word underlined here is vast. Vast. What does vast mean? And rivers that are long and wide that bring our states together as one vast land.
Vast, great in size. The vast plains of Wyoming go on for hundreds of miles. Vast.
Wow, so a lot. Big, vast, huge. And let's go back for one moment. On this page here, they're talking about all of the different types of rivers. So it says one vast land from the Hudson to the Ohio to the Mississippi to the Columbia. This is America. All of those are different names of different rivers. Notice they're capitalized, right? It's a beautiful picture, and I can tell just from looking at the illustration, what season do you think it is? Do you think it's summer, fall, winter, or spring? Do you think it's summer, fall, winter, or spring? What season do you think it is and why? Give me your evidence. I think it's fall too. Look at those trees, and it looks like the plants are starting to die, but it still looks like they don't need heavy coats on. So good inferencing, using what you already know to figure out what's going on in the text.
America is home to its very first people, the proud tribes who live in peace with the earth and the sky, whose words bring wisdom to all who listen.
And I see a word here I wasn't sure about. It's our vocabulary word, tribes.
Tribes. Plural form of tribe. A group of people that include families and relatives who have the same language, customs, and beliefs. We learned about different tribes who live in Kenya. Tribes.
So people that stick together, work together, and follow the same beliefs. Okay? Tribes. Very good. Lots of different types of people here I see, playing different games. Let's read.
And America is those of us who came later, many kinds of people, from many countries of the world. We are one family and one team. We are Americans.
Lots of different people. Do these people all look the same? No. And it says here, from many countries of the world. We are one family, we are one team, because we are all Americans, right? And right now we're working together as Americans to keep our country healthy and try to make sure everybody recovers from this virus and that we are sticking together.
And America is the prairie, tall grass and wind and stars. Listen, this is America.
Wow, that looks very pretty. A night scene, right? This is the prairie. And I can see, oh, if you look very carefully, you can see this rabbit sleeping in the prairie. Prairie's tall grass, it's quiet. It's also America, right? All these different places. And this looks familiar, doesn't it? All this snow.
America is the stone walls of New England, the forests of the Northwest, the osprey and oysters of the Chesapeake Bay.
The osprey. What is osprey? Let's reread. The osprey and oysters of the Chesapeake Bay. I see two things here. I see this barn, and I see maybe some cows down here. And then I see this bird. So this must be the osprey. This bird is called an osprey.
And Minnesota winters, 10 degrees below zero, and sometimes colder.
Whew. Now it tells us there what season is, but I could have guessed, right? You could have made an inference. 10 degrees below zero. Look at all that snow. That's also America, right? Another different part. Ooh, part of America is this.
The West and its ranches are a part of this nation too, with 10-gallon hats and boots and spurs, with herds of cattle and lassos in cowboys' hands. Rodeo, yippee-yi-yay! This is America.
Wow. So the West and its ranches are part of this nation too. So we've learned directional, right? We've learned our compass. Never eat soggy waffles. Go ahead and do it once. North, east, south, west. You might be opposite from what I'm doing, but make sure you know. So in the West, on the west side of the country, these are the kind of things they do for fun. Go to rodeos and people with cattle and horses. It might not be something we do in our part of the country, but that doesn't mean it's not part of America and America's culture. Ooh, more beautiful pictures of scenery. Two different, right? You can compare and contrast without even reading first. On one page I see desert, on the other page I see a beach. Let's read about it.
America is rugged mountains with caps of snow and deserts that are hot and dry, 110 degrees in the shade.
Wow, 110 degrees in the shade. Look at the shadow that's being cast by that cactus. We learned about cactuses, didn't we? So America can be nice and cold on top of that mountain, or super hot.
It is Niagara Falls, the Grand Canyon, and sandy beaches to fly a kite on, or dig all the way to China. So much to see in every state. America.
Can we really dig all the way to China? I don't think so. But you could pretend, right? And that's something that you might do when you go to the beach. Interesting. Very cool. This looks familiar. This could maybe look like our town.
America is big trucks and wide horizons and roads that take us east and west, north and south. And America is old towns with old names and new towns yet to be that tell our history then and now. It is a nation where 50 states meet, where we are all one.
Wow. So that reminds me of what I talked about before we began, inclusiveness, right? How things can be different or very spread out, but we're all included in the same country together. Let's revisit this first paragraph where it says big trucks and wide horizons and roads that take us east and west, north and south. Let's read about horizons, wide horizons.
Horizon. The line where the earth or ocean seems to meet the sky. The sun is rising over the horizon. Horizon.
Nice. Where the earth seems to meet the sun or the sky. The horizon. Good.
America is the land where we are free to live, to speak out, to worship, to work, to play, to follow our dreams.
And we're allowed to choose which of those things we want to do, how to live, how to speak, how to worship, that means church, how to work or what to do for your living, how to play, and how to follow out your dreams. Oh, look at this. It's beautiful, right? Let's read.
America is names we remember, like George Washington, Betsy Ross, Ben Franklin, Harriet Tubman, Abraham Lincoln, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Martin Luther King Jr., and holidays we call our own, like Thanksgiving in November, to honor the Pilgrims and the Native Americans, and the 4th of July, when every summer in every state, fireworks light up our sky. Happy birthday, America.
Good. And a lot of those things we've already learned about.
America is letters and phone calls, emails and faxes, from family, from friends, from the 50 states, near and far, vacations and reunions. We connect across the rivers, across the mountains, across the miles, across America.
Wow. That's really nice to think about, isn't it? And I can visualize that, getting phone calls or letters or texts or maybe talking to somebody on FaceTime that doesn't live close to you, but you stay in contact with them because that's what we do and how we do those things. And I bet a lot of you have done many of those things before, vacations and reunions. You can make a connection to this picture, I bet. Yeah, we've all done this before. Maybe we haven't been doing this lately, but I'm sure you can connect. Make a good connection here.
America is a all of us told together. From continent to continent across the world, we are the nation whose name means freedom. America is our country. It is the place we call home.
Very good. So no matter where you're at in your country, in the United States, everybody has their own story to tell. But just because they're different doesn't mean they don't make sense with us all together. All right, and we finished our story. So, you guys did an awesome job reading that today. I have 3 questions for you to answer today about our story. So I'm going to flip back here to the title of America Is. And again, I want to talk about inclusiveness. So I asked you at the beginning to talk to me about what inclusive means, right? Inclusive means making everyone feel that they belong. So how did this story do that? How did this story do that? As I'm flipping back through the pages, as you can kind of see in the background here, how did we make people feel included? All these different places, all these different types of people, right? Think about that. And if Miss Cheslack was right here in front of you, I hope you're raising your hand, right? Ready to answer. All these people in all these places we learned about were not the same. They were all very different. But we are all included because we're all part of the country that you see right here, right? America. Good. So this story gave us so many different examples of how we can be inclusive with each other. If you're from America, there are so many different ways to do that. So your assignment today is to get out a piece of paper, and I'm going to give you 3 questions. These 3 questions are going to be on the board, and I'm going to write them. You can pause the video once I show you the questions, and then they'll also be below in your video right here, okay? So your 3 questions about your story are right here, and I'm going to read them to you. Number 1, which places does the author include in this selection? So I want you to list me some of the places that the author talks about in this story. There are lots, and you might need to go back to your text. Again, I'm going to link this story to you, and I hope that it works. But otherwise, you might just have to think back about some of the places that you were able to talk about in the story. Maybe one of your favorites. Number 2, which people does the author mention? What types of people were mentioned in this story? And number 3, where would you visit out of all of these places that was listed in the story? There were lots. Which one would you like to visit? Okay? And that's your choice. I want to know where you would like to visit. So, once you've written out these on a piece of paper, your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister is going to take a quick picture of it. And then you can post it to, if you're in Miss Cheslack's class, to our Google Classroom. If you're in Miss Sherbell's class, I want you to post it however she would like you to, okay? Nice job. Before we end today, again, I'm going to link this story, and hopefully you are able to click on it and find America Is. America Is begins on page 270. Okay, and you guys are all set. I will put the questions down below. Before we leave today, I want to give a shout out to a couple students that I'm checking Google Classroom in Mrs. Cheslack's class, and you are turning in all of your work. You are working so hard, so I want you, Zanili, and Corey, and Aaron, and Ayana. I have been checking in all of your work, and you guys have been doing an awesome job. And next time you see me, I'm going to shout out a couple other people. So keep turning in that work. Keep doing your very best. Keep it up. I'm seeing everything that you turn in. So keep up the good work. Keep working hard, and I will see you soon. Have a great day.